Well, the House Homeland Security Committee holding a hearing on the state of the border crisis and the drug cartels that continue to operate in the region.
Our very own border correspondent Jaeson Jones was a witness in that hearing, and he joins us now live with the latest. Jaeson, good morning to you.
Emma, Sean, good morning. It's good to be with you. You know, yesterday I testified before the Homeland Security hearing and the whole point of me being there was to really talk to the folks about what the cartels are doing, the tactics they're using, but most importantly, solutions to go after them. And look at what it turned into. I want you to take a look at this clip and this exchange between myself and Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas.
That is not, I'm putting that on the record, Mr. Chairman, because I want an investigation. These are not governmental witnesses. They are witnesses who've come to share their stories, but I want an investigation.
Can I respond to that?
I want an investigation.
Is there availability for me to respond to that accusation?
Hold on. I am taking control back. The gentlelady's time has expired. And Mr. D'Esposito is recognized from New York, and you may yield if you'd like to Mr. Jones.
The gentleman is not on staff at this point.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to yield 30 seconds of my time to Mr. Jones.
I am the only one sitting in this room that's been exactly where those accusations were made. On my phone, I've got video of what the men and women of law enforcement at local, state, and especially the Texas Department of Public Safety and National Guard are going through as hundreds of people 3 miles from the closest port of entry are being crossed by the cartels. And to say that the men and women of DPS are throwing babies into the river is absolute absurd. And that they would do that. That's
I didn't say that.
The gentleman is recognized.
Mr. Chairman, you cannot malign me in this room. I did not say that.
Ms. Jackson Lee, I believe this is my
that.
time, Ms. Jackson Lee.
I'm still absolutely frustrated over that. I have to tell you, and shame on Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas for making those statements without validating what she was saying. She was quoting an article from the Houston Chronicle that's absolute trash. I mean, it's just trash, and none of it's true. I mean, it literally says in there that DPS troopers have been ordered to throw babies into the Rio Grande River. She made accusations there that troopers, because of their operations there, are forcing migrants to drown, because they did have 4 drown in a 48-hour period there. But they don't say, she didn't say anything about how these cartels are moving these people 3 miles from the closest port of entry in some of the most remote country. Guys, we were there. I showed the American people what was happening at that location and how bad it is down there. Those men and women are doing everything they can, but no one's taking up for them. And for a congresswoman from Texas who could literally pick up the telephone and call the director of DPS to even try to see if that article was right, if it was validated and what's really happening, and then to say that on the national stage while we're sitting in that room when she hasn't even been down there, this is an example of how broken we are. So, you know, look, my goal there yesterday was to try to talk about these cartels and what we have to do as a nation to go after them and protect the American people. But this is just where we are. So if you're sitting in Texas or along, you know, one of these states on the southwest border, Sean, Emma, I've got to tell you, these states better start going at it alone, because if you think we're going to get help from Washington after yesterday 3 hours being grilled, I got to tell you, I don't see any change coming anytime soon. Back to you.
Yeah, Jaeson, that was what I was going to ask you. Obviously, you know, we cover these hearings, and one is happening right now, and you are one of those that were able to testify again on the issues there at the border, and you are down there. You have seen it, and many of our viewers have seen your reporting and the exclusive video and the unfortunate, tragic information that comes from the border. And in those hours that you're there, being in that room, do you feel like any of this information is being retained and then perhaps being utilized in any way? Is this sinking in to those that are listening to your testimony and the testimony of others?
No. I want to be very honest with you, Sean. No, not at all. You know, I appreciate the Chairman Green invitation to come up there. A lot of people don't know you pay for that out of your own pocket. Nobody reimburses. I mean, I went up there because of my past trying to illuminate these cartels and how hyper-violent they are, not only to our own country and our own citizens, you know, who now are losing 100,000 Americans. You know, yesterday, 300 families, approximately 300 families got the knock at the door that the person they love the most in the world, Sean, is never coming home because of fentanyl and methamphetamine and many other drugs. And this is what's taking place in these hearings. So, you know, I'm just going to be very frank with you here. No, I don't see any change coming anytime soon. I don't believe that we can look to Washington for help. And I don't see myself coming back here anytime soon. But I will tell you what we will keep doing. We're going to keep going down to that border, and we'll show the American people what's really happening versus the lies that are being told. Because when we go down there and you put it on video and you see it yourself, you see what's really taking place. When I can get on that river and look in every direction in that exact location, see smugglers, a cartel drone 50 feet from me, so close that we literally are getting the drone on footage. I'm there with Chris Oliveris and we're seeing it. None of this gets out to the American people unless you're watching Newsmax. So we've got Congress people who are our elected leaders who can fix this, and they could care less, and that's the real truth of it. As 300 families yesterday got a knock at the door that the people they love the most in the world aren't coming. So states better start fixing this on their own.
Yeah, you really put it into perspective there. Of course, the impact this drug crisis has on the American public, broadly speaking. It's really enlightening, Jason, the footage you're able to bring our viewers, those firsthand accounts that you're able to share from border communities, to hear from law enforcement officers who face this day after day. You are the ideal witness in this scenario. You would hope lawmakers would listen to you and give you the time of day. We will anytime. So thanks so much for joining us, and we appreciate your reporting.